I would like us to direct our attention internally in the most relaxed and effort-free way. And that simply means that we are not going to engage with anything personal whatsoever. So the thoughts that may have been moving through our minds and so on in the day, or for anything from the past, what has happened, what has gone, we're just going to leave that out now, leave that aside. We're not going to engage with that. And thoughts such as what our intentions are for tomorrow or the future, we are going to not speak about that. This should be easy for everybody here because we're not in the habit of doing that anyway, except for where it has a practical significance. So we're easily going to leave these thoughts out. And what is left? Any thought about ourself, our person, how we've been feeling today, and how we're feeling right now, and any kind of anything that would be inclined to hold the attention, we are also going to dismiss this for the duration of our sitting here. And so basically, we're not holding on to any kind of thought, whether of the past or future or even presently. So what should be here is just a feeling of quiet and relaxed neutrality, or a state of emptiness. And not a remembered emptiness. An experienced emptiness. We're not going to have any idea of what to do with this. It is already beautifully enough that we can come to this state where we're not holding on to any intention. Now we go to the sense of our self-image, the sense in which we carry of who we are, or who seem to be always present with us as one. The feeling of I or me or myself. And any history to that, any content in this. Also, we are not going to engage with this sense of I, the I thought, or I concept, I story, that also is going to be left aside right now. We will do this. Or any image that comes from any region of time. We are not going to play with these images so as to prolong their stay or their appearance. So if they pass, they pass, but we are not going to engage with anything. This is so that we can simply be as we are. Thought-free. Unengaged, unmixed. So what is now to be discovered here? What is really here now? Well, in spite of leaving all the things that we would ordinarily be preoccupied with thoughts about ourselves or relationships or intentions for any work in the future, in spite of none of these things, you are here. You know that you exist and that you are here. And the capacity to perceive is here. So what really is here? Apart from this, a sort of non-objective silence and spaciousness, maybe. But really, what is it that is here? This. What word can describe this? And yourself, who are here, what word to describe you without history, without past, without name or reference? What is the quality of this? What is here now? And we are not to use any imagination at all. Not to create. There's just this sense of isness, which I use this term, just is, being. But they are just words hinting at, pointing to something which is not quite a thing. What can we say of this? Is it a state? Is it new? And within each one who is sitting here, will this be experienced differently? Does it have any distinguishing features? Does it have history? If I were to use the words like, does it have a past or a background? Could we say such a thing? Has it got anything to do with time? Is it an object possessing size or shape or color or design? That is separate from you. And how is it being perceived? Are you perceiving it through the senses? Can it be seen or touched or smelt or felt or heard? So again, our attention is brought here. Is it different from the last time that you noticed, or has it changed? No. Is there a duality here, such as where you are sitting or standing, and it, this which I call that which is? Is it like you are there in it? If it is one thing inside another, then they must have shape or form or limitations. Is it different from what you are? And again, we have not invited the powers to imagine or to create. Only for discovering and recognizing, noticing. You yourself, are you existing within some definition? Can you be defined? Are you yourself a particular shape? That which has the capacity to perceive, to recognize that which is. Who are you? Don't hold on to any image, any self-image, any photograph. All these are from the past mind. Can this that you are be photographed? What image will be there? Does it have any expectations? And from whom would it be having expectation? And this that is it waiting? You have confirmed it is not an object. Then how do you perceive it? There is no distance. Even if the subtlest memory is holding on to self-image, dismiss this also. So that you're totally fresh, not borrowing any idea or thought or image from past. What is past? Is that which is a feeling that you are perceiving. Can it be lost? What is its relationship to you? Is there such a thing? And this functioning of perception here now, is this belonging to time? Will it change, or that which is being directly perceived and yet is distanceless? Is it phenomenal? Can it be touched? Can it be kept? Is it personal? Did you create it? Did it come? So just be clear about this. Can it go? You who feel that you sometimes forget it, or am distracted from it, who is it that is distracted? If it and yourself is one, what is distraction? Is it not merely putting the attention towards some phenomenon, and then that phenomenon, the energy of that is engaged in, and because you cannot look at two things at the same time. But is this that is a thing to be looked at? Can we look at it, from it, or as it? Because of the age-old habit of identifying as the attention and as the body and culture, conditioning, all this gives the feeling of a kind of trafficking, of moving about, of leaving and returning. But the comings and goings are always watched somehow. Even though we have the sense that we're not consciously watching. The habit seems to want to establish itself as a fact that that is our effortless experience, is that we get distracted, we move about. But who's the we who move about? Is it not the idea we have of ourselves? Our attention and form move about. Which when we call this ourself, then we have the impression we're moving about. So that moving aboutness is experienced by the conditioned consciousness. Observed in the pure consciousness. Therefore, for a time, our attention must stay here in this new place of recognition. Yet it is not new. The recognition may feel new. Until the seeming need to keep coming back is not needed anymore. can we be apart from this that is? I who am and that which is are one and the same. That wordless I and that which is are one. But that which is does not need to say I am. It simply is. If the memory of the self as a person or something personal seems to be moving back in, creeping back in, see this as what? As only some phenomenon. It is nothing at all. That which you have left aside, meaning not choosing to engage with it, is it essential to your being? It is all nothing. The consciousness must use its inherent powers to discern, to recognize, to introspect, to awaken from the sleep of egoic identity. This is to somehow weaken the reflex to move back into identity. It is the only way that a consciousness could somehow release its wisdom, because it is compelled to. When it is challenged by the force of the mind. The force of the mind comes into play only when consciousness appears to forget its own power and identify with time and change. So you are here without waiting, resolved within your own self-nature. What is to be done? So whatever nature calls into play as to what will happen on the surface of consciousness, that will continue to manifest. But it will not have the hold, the sense of binding the being, knowing that all of this is ephemeral, and yet holding no cynicism towards the unfolding play of the cosmos. Notice how you are. Notice the consciousness which is not in a state of anticipation or waiting. Notice that it is incapable of waiting or expecting. It is that which is. So if that which is consciousness is incapable of waiting or expecting anything, in the phenomenal play of life, where there is the play of waiting, can this external play of waiting disturb that which is incapable of waiting? Noticing this, anxiety leaves the consciousness. How are you feeling now? Eyes open, eyes closed, makes a difference?
No.
No. Can that which is come out of itself? Separate from itself?
No.
Yet there is the play of separation. So what separates?
Forgetting.
An idea we have of ourselves experiences a sense of separation. The identity that is created through the belief that consciousness experiences that it is the body and it is its conditioning experiences separation. The password, I am this body, I am the doer of actions and the thinker of thoughts, is the password that pulls the consciousness into the state of personhood, into the state of apparent autonomy, and naturally as a consequence, the state of separation comes, which it enjoys and suffers. Where is this in terms of that which is. Does the that which is suffer some loss? Does the that which is wait for the that which I appear to be to return? The that which I appear to be, which receives so much attention, does it have a stronger sense of reality than the that which is? Seeing now. Because your most important seeing is now, not what you saw yesterday. Because consciousness is always current, it's always fresh, it's always now. It is the personal consciousness, the personal mode of consciousness, that needs a past. Because anything that is tangible, that has an identity, needs a past, needs a background to remind itself. It has to keep up its identity. Otherwise it collapses. The pure consciousness does not need an identity. And this is why sometimes it is experienced, the sense of losing some memory, or losing the memory of certain things, because of this changing over again back into consciousness, from person to presence, or from person to consciousness. The consciousness does not care, it does not work to preserve an identity which it does not need anymore. It needs it for a time, while it wished to believe in itself as a person. In the stage of waking up to its true nature, it is seeing that it has been carrying burdens, beliefs that slow it down, distract it from its original root and nature. In its dynamic expression as life, and the one living life. Can this be seen now? Can we
Yes.
see this? Does it feel like it's being forced?
No.
Like it's forceful or more clear?
Clear. Seems like there can't be anything besides the what is.
Yes. How is the what is experiencing itself right now with this body? With the body being here. How is the what is experiencing itself? Not even mentioning with the body being here.
A sense of presence.
In the phenomenal expression, where we have the sense of being, the sense of duty and play and relation. Is there a feeling just to throw that away, or is it that somehow now we move with this, because this also is present here? We move with this with greater intelligence, with the insight of our fresh discovering. That discovering must inform our action, our state of mind and being. It must have some impact there. It must have exert some influence there. If your attention is with it consciously, so you make some effort to be more consciously present with it as it, be present with it, you know. It's almost like you squeeze the lemon, juice come. So you're squeezing the consciousness somehow, and more juice is coming, and that juice is somehow stimulating the vital life, and you know. But you don't have a design how that should be. You're just squeezing the lemon, and so somehow, you know, there's a joy right there. There's a joy right there, and it creates the sense of a very powerful concentratedness, which itself is a joy. Sometimes there's a strong movement there, but it should not be able to stop the seeing, even though sometimes very strong movements may make you feel, you know, now is not the right time to do this because there's too much going on. You must not purchase that, because then you put a condition to say that I can only be here when the mind is quiet. You see? Doesn't matter if the mind is not quiet. The mind is not your door.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
You, it's not about quiet or not quiet. It's about recognizing where's your true place. And your true place is in that, from where you can see the mind is a bit noisy, the mind is moving about, but as you keep affirming, but I'm just here, this is not moving about. This is not moving, mind is moving about. And you stay with that which is not moving about, rather than waiting for the mind to stop moving about. If you stay with that which cannot move about, the moving aboutness of the mind will become redundant. There's nothing. Because it can only move about if there's somebody to pay attention to it. If you feel it is important to try and stop the mind, then you will try and do something which activates and gives more energy to the mind. But if you just let it go, don't try and fight him. Let him be there. He's feeling restless. He's moving. But you don't have to wear that label. Because you are there before the mind. You see? You are the original one. You have to reconfirm. Without me, there's no mind. For whom is the mind behaving? It is you who say, yeah, no, my mind is strong and whatever. You see? So you just be there. The self need not be felt. It is there before feeling or seeing. It cannot be seen. That is how it is seen. It cannot be felt. Knowing this, that's how it is felt. Because this movement of the mind, in fact, it is good exercise for you now, because you will see that there's a tendency to abandon or to feel now it's not working because my mind is too much in the way. But your mind can never be in the way of the self. Your mind is just something that's moved, and your mind says, look, my mind is in the way of the self. Because the self will not say, sorry, I can't come in, the mind is standing in the door. It cannot say that. It is already you are there. And it is without reading. It's you're looking at the reading of the mind and saying that the mind, or something is looking at the mind, saying the mind, the thing that feels, the thing that expects, that the mind should not be doing this because my intention is to be in the self. You see? That thing actually is not the self. You see? So it's good to recognize this tendency to say, okay, tonight is not a good thing. But don't register that, because then tomorrow it will be even more difficult. Like say, okay, tomorrow I'll try again. No, tomorrow it's still there. But it doesn't matter what is still there. You can call in right now the noise to be as loud as it wants to be right now. As loud, just come and throw your biggest punches, your biggest tsunami. But it can only be detected because the life force and the consciousness is already here. And the consciousness is not, that pure consciousness is not playing the game of the mind. It is simply here. Because it is here, the mind can be perceived to be quiet or to be noisy. And in fact, when you see that you give permission for mind to be noisy, but that it makes no difference, or whether you are here or not. Otherwise, you're saying your mind is stronger than you, which is a complete nonsense. You see?
I could really see that.
Yeah. And it happens. We have to use these kind of plays to strengthen yourself. Like what happens when, everybody the mind says, look, oh, they're all slipping nicely into it, and oh my God, it's like, wow, I can't do it. Like, but it's not a doing. You're already there. You're already here. Because you are the self does not mean you not hear a bomb explode or people shout at you and oh my God, where's the self? Self, I need you. No, you are the self. You just stay put there and don't fight with the hands of the mind. You just stay with the self and just trust, whatever has to play out here. And then gradually your calm can come back. But even if it doesn't come back, you stay as the self. You see? And don't say that, the self is not doing very well today because the mind is so noisy in front of it. No, don't mind. Don't mind the mind. I speak from experience with these things because, for a while I could not. I still felt that even though this marvelous thing had happened inside, that I still had to take care of me. This I had to take care of me. You're still thinking in terms of survival. You lose your job. You lose this. You got no money. What you gonna do? It's still the person is thinking, you see. It hasn't given credit yet. Like, wow, you're not yet able to say, I'm delivered, I'm saved. I'm in the kingdom of God right now. Why should I be worrying? Just forget about it and go your way. Food will come. I never had it in my mind. I was sometimes feeling this in your belly. I think, oh my God, I'm so hungry. Oh my God, what's happening? Where's the food? What's happening? But it's still like a beggar. I was like a beggar, And always, I don't know where this came from. This inside me, and I never take things for granted. Never feel, I deserve something. I don't have this feeling. It's really, okay, we'll see. So, and any arrogance, okay, I surrender to God. Of course He's going to deliver. I didn't have this. Thank you.